For those of you who are new, Andy is a multi-million dollar business founder, and I, Lory Audate, I'm a successful corporate construction project manager and marketing director for multiple businesses. Together, we share our expertise in entrepreneurship, business growth, mindset, and marketing strategies. On today's podcast, we will be sharing how you can automate your marketing to scale to $1 million annually. So you want to watch this if you're stuck in a certain amount and you're like, what could I do different? What can I change in my business? Welcome, Andy. How are you feeling?
Super excited to be here, and this episode is going to be interesting because I wish I had heard the content that we're going to be sharing this on this episode. I wish we had heard of it, like I heard it years ago.
Right. I was going to actually say, how does it feel to now be doing the podcast from this side of it? Because I'm sure, as people would love to know, is it takes years, right, to acquire this knowledge that you are now sharing.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go through the journey of trials and tribulations and challenges, and then, but now the fact that there's so much more information available and readily available to so that way you can make decisions. It's only an opportunity for you to grow faster.
I agree. So this will be fast paced because we only have about 30-28 minutes. So my best piece of advice is grab a notepad, make some key bullet points, and you might want to replay it because Andy will be sharing his screen and he's actually going to break a lot of strategy. Now, one thing about Andy is when he talks about strategy, he'll make it like easy, like he'll explain it, break it down, but there might be 20 to 50 steps in that strategy. Would you agree, Andy?
Many times, yes.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited to dive into this topic, but before we go into the how, what is one reason why a business owner would even want to scale to $1 million? Like in your experience, having different levels of businesses, from some people might be like, well, I'm fine. I'm okay with making, 200,000 a year or 250,000. Like, what is the value of scaling to that level in your experience?
It just gives you more resources. If you're in a position, or for example, if someone's making, let's say, $50,000 a year, right, compared to $1 million a year, you just have a tremendously amount of more resources for you to acquire more customers, for you to share your message, for you to weather a bad storm. If you're making $1 million a year, and for whatever reason, $50,000, you take a $50,000 loss, you're still profitable, right? It's still a profitable venture. But if you only make 50,000 and you take a $50,000 loss, then it kind of stings, right? So a lot of the issues that you start to see is because you don't have enough resources. When it comes down to a small business, whether it's marketing, employees, tech, so on and so forth, you just don't have enough resources. I'll give you an example. I was on a coaching call with some members who are in our coaching program, business coaching program, and this specific person works with is a marketing agency that does um, enterprise level customers. So they have customers who are doing nearly $1 billion in revenue, and they take care of one marketing piece with their artificial intelligence platform. And one of the things this person I'm coaching wants to get out of working with the enterprise clients, and they want to focus on selling software. And the value for them is in selling software is that they're creating something that's recurring, low effort, and it's subscription revenue, which increases the EBITDA for the company, the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and appreciation. So the bottom line number, the profit essentially, it increases the profit when you're selling subscription because you can automate that journey versus when you're selling service, it depends on people and you got to hire more people. So this person wants to do software and he wants to create his profits through software. And what I told him was, I said, increase prices, right? And he's like, why should I increase my prices?
Right.
And I said to him, hey, if you are, for example, charging a client $30,000 a month for marketing services, at the enterprise level, you're charging $30,000 a month. If you charge $75,000 a month, then that for sure gives you at least $45,000 to play with every single month, and that money is going to add up. So the extra $45,000, what that's going to give you is the opportunity to hire a CEO to replace you. Right? It's going to give you the
Hmm.
opportunity to acquire other agencies to acquire market share. It's going to give you the
Mhm.
opportunity to invest into your software business and creating your subscription revenue because you have those resources. So the reason you want to hit the $1 million mark, $2 million mark, and grow your business is because you're going to have more resources.
Yes, I agree. And with us going into the topic of automating the marketing to achieve this goal, right? Because it is more than just raising the prices. You might need to add more customers. You might need to upgrade the onboarding to be able to put 100 customers versus 10 customers, like 10x, the amount of customers. um, do you believe that a business can reach 1 million annually without automations, like if they still have, I mean, we call it old school, but like manual steps, like if this person calls you still write it down, and there's still business cards laying around desk? Do you believe a business can reach this level with manual steps?
For sure, for sure. And you don't need manual to create revenue. You don't need automations to create revenue. However, your profit will be jeopardized. Your net profit will be jeopardized. Like for example, when I ran a cell phone store, we did over $1 million, and even in that business, a lot of the processes back then I didn't know of automations, so I led my team to do manual activities, right? So we would do everything manually. Social media was manual, texting was a manual, calling was manual. All those steps was manual. Getting someone's name, email, phone number, put it into the notepad that's underneath the register, manual, right? And put it in the notepad so that we'll call them later. That's manual, right? So all of those steps were manual, and I had to pay for those activities by paying someone to do something for me. So if tell someone, like say for example, if I'm paying someone $20 an hour, and I say, hey, sit down here, and I want you to text this person back and forth for the next 30 minutes. Go text this person, ask them what time they're available, wait for them to respond. Then when they respond, schedule an appointment, go back and forth, and that takes 30 minutes. I
Yeah,
technically just paid $10 for that conversation, right? If I paid someone $20 an
right.
hour, it took them 30 minutes. That's $10 in that 1 hour. And with automation, I can have 1,000 of those conversations, and it automatically is done with the software. No need for people to get involved.
Right. No extra payroll, no extra phones. And like you said, 1,000 conversations can be going on within the same 30 minutes. I
Right.
actually, it reminded me when I met you in 2020. No, I met you in 2019, but in 2020, I got to see more behind the scenes of your business. Like you had virtual assistants, and you were already working in like systems in the business. But at that time I was director of a gym, and the payroll was crazy. And it was across like front desk and also trainers. Now you can't automate a trainer, right? They have to be there in person to train the people at the gym. But the thing I remember I said in 2020, like, wow, if the gym had this a virtual assistant and automations for the texting, I could cut payroll in half.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I was able to see how many hours I needed to schedule 2 shifts just to make sure those leads from the ads were having a human touch point and getting pushed through, because as we all know, like after a certain amount of time they're cold. Like if you don't catch them within a certain window, those Facebook leads turned cold, and then we never got to really invite them into the gym. But yeah, I remember coming to that realization, like I'm paying this much for making sure that there's someone during full business hours. And then I could have done either a virtual assistant or automations to replace those manual steps, and then use that staff for something else that could not have been done, by a computer.
Right.
Um, but with that being said, that's just a small example where I kind of started doing the math on that. What step would you invite business owners watching this podcast? What can they do within Progreda to automate their marketing to achieve their goals? Now, it doesn't have to be $1 million. Let's say they just want to double or 4x it. What's that one thing that you can share with them that's possible within Progreda? And I do want to add, the what Andy is sharing is something that he's created from his mind, his experience. He's had to create this just from understanding the journey of a lead to a customer to an
Right.
appointment, things like that. But it can be customized for the business that you are in, right, Andy? So this is just how what works for Andy's businesses, but it could be different for someone else. Like if they are in the health and wellness coaching, or if they're in a different type of business space.
Yeah, no, this is not limited to a specific industry, but I will share with you one thing that could support you is going to be in getting contacts, which is like lead generation and generating sales opportunities. Whether it's for you, you're the sales representative, or even if it's for someone on your team, you're going to need a system to be able to capture the name, email, and phone number of your potential customers, so that way you can follow up, you can email, you can text them. That's the first thing of automation that you want to automate, because all the remaining elements like scheduling reminders, or texting reminders for our sales appointments, or meetings, or reminders for their bookings, or reminders to pay invoices, like those things can be automated. But what was the initial thing that created those sales opportunities was the lead being generated, the contact detail of your potential customer. So if I'm a bakery and someone walks into my business and I want to grow my business, every time that someone walks in, I need to capture their name, email, and phone number. So I need to be giving out some coupons with some offers, like that. Put your name, email, phone number here. We'll email you a coupon for the bakery. Or if I'm a massage therapist, then I'm gonna do the same thing. If I'm a fitness trainer, I'm gonna do the same thing. If I am a gym, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get your name, email, and phone number, so that way I'm in control of communicating and giving you the opportunity to purchase my services.
Right. Data is might as well be like a bag of money, right?
Yeah,
if especially if you're already investing in a brick and mortar business, you've already invested in getting people to walk into your shop, click on your website, follow you on Instagram, follow you on Facebook. Wouldn't you want to have a way to reach them out? Email, phone number, and their full name. It's like the start of a relationship. If someone walks into the like you said, the bakery, and they walk out and you don't have any way of connecting, what are the chances they're going to walk in again? Right.
yeah, right.
So we always say that is the lead that's important. You need to have their name, email, phone number. Do not let them walk out or just continue to follow you on social media and you have no way of reaching out to them. That's money sitting there. That's opportunities for your sales team, the marketing team.
I remember when I was younger, I lived next to a bakery, and this bakery. So I mean, this was in walking distance from me, and this bakery was using archaic systems. Like you would walk in, and then the register is like the cash tills. Like you got to press a button, and the thing opens up, and the button that you press is actually a physical button. There's no calculator in it, right? It's not connected to the internet or anything of that nature. So that's how they operate the business. And
Mm-hmm.
if they were to have an offer, for example, like, hey, Valentine's Day, because even when I was younger, I would drive to CVS, I would pass this bakery, not even thinking. Now that I'm thinking about the scenario,
You did not
Valentine's
support
Day,
local.
getting something for my mom, for example, on Valentine's Day, I would go to CVS, get like the a bear or something of that nature, and come
Yeah.
back to my mom's house and bring the chocolates from the local CVS, rather than the local
Yeah.
bakery that was actually on my way there, but they were
Right.
never top of mind. And had they texted me or they emailed me and said, "Hey, this week, Valentine's Day, you love your partner, you love your mom, whatever that may look like, come to us and get these goodies, get these chocolates, 50% off, whatever that is. Come join us
Mm-hmm.
now." Like that would have brought me there rather than the CVS. And it's very ironic. CVS is actually farther away, but
Yeah.
I they came top of mind before the baker did.
Yeah, because I'm assuming, I mean, even these like Fortune 500 companies, they're sending us their weekly ads. They're sending us their holiday promotion. They're sending us, here's a 15%. We've missed you. Like these are all things that you can do within Progreda, custom for your business, to set it up where those things are happening for your leads so that if they are open to buying your products or services, you catch them at the right time, you send the right email, you send the right offer, and they could be thinking, oh, you know what, I have been meaning to sign up for that program, I just forgot, or I just was busy last time.
Right.
um what is one of the, well, I mean, I was going to say the most powerful tools, but they're all powerful in Progreda. But because Progreda can do a lot, what would you say the key function in Progreda is to reach more people, where you can kind of like set it and forget it? At least let's say they just signed up for Progreda, they're within their first 30 days, give that business that already has a name, email, phone numbers, they're importing a list. What's the first thing they should do within the Progreda software to wake up their list? And kind of do another touch point. Not that I have to take 6 months to develop, but like first 30 days.
Well, let's address the first thing that we discussed on here, which was creating the what creates the lead, and then we can go to our database reactivation and nurturing their database. So the first thing that you want to do, and I'll share my screen, but there are going to be members who are not able to see it because they are listening to our audio, but I'll explain for the most part. So this is a Progreda user. His name is Ivan. So what I'm sharing on my screen is a picture of a gentleman who uses our software, and I'm going to show you an example of his campaign. So on his Instagram biography, what he does is right on his Instagram biography, he says direct message me the word wealth. So he sells life insurance, and in his life insurance, he explains to people how to build
Hmm.
wealth by using life insurance and leveraging, you know, life insurance does it the same way that the rich people use life insurance. So he has people direct message him the word wealth, and when people message him the word wealth, and they message him that initial word, our software responds and says, "Hey, I'm glad to hear that you're interested. Can I have your email? I'll send you more information on how to build wealth. What's your email?" And then when someone responds with their email address via the direct message on Instagram, our software captures their email address right inside of the CRM as a contact. And then our software responds and says, "Hey, what's your phone number to stay connected?" And the person writes their phone number, and then our software now captures their email address and phone number. And because they messaged us from Instagram, we have their first name already. So we have their first name, email, and phone number. Now we can send those emails that would ask them to, for example, to like book a call or to purchase a product and things of that nature. So the first objective that you want to have is you want to have a system that allows you to capture the name, email, and phone number of your potential customer.
Got it. So when you say have a system, it's the DM, like DM me the word and then setting up Progreda on the back end to take care of all those steps.
Correct. Correct. So like as soon as someone messages you that word that triggers an automation, and if it's that specific word, then the value of that for you is you can tell the world, hey, you could have 1,000 people direct message you that keyword, 1,000 people text you a keyword, whatever that may look like, and all of them we can capture their name, email, and phone number, giving you a potent list of people who are genuinely interested in purchasing your product or your service.
But it sounds like, well, in this example, this is one of the many marketing tools within Progreda to scale and reach that level of revenue. But with this, in this scenario, with Ivan having Instagram, I do want to preface Ivan is active on social media. And what I mean by that is he's making, if not at least 5 posts a week on social media to call people to click on the link, click on the bio, exerting himself as a reputable, credible source, maybe even 10 posts a week. So, in this example of this marketing strategy, it would also entail like the action of making the videos, driving traffic to it. Or is it just as simple as like, here's the link, people should be coming to it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be something that you got to tell people to do, right? Even at a restaurant, if you're at a restaurant, for example, some of the ways that they'll use this system because they restaurants typically don't capture the name, email, and phone number of their patrons. So one of the ways that they'll do this is that they'll have a flyer that says scan this QR code to get a 20% off of our whatever dessert or get a free dessert by opting in, something of that nature, right? And when you scan the QR code, it can bring you directly to text message, and that text message it just starts the initiation of the automation. So that's one example, right? So you can use a QR code scanner, or you can use a QR code, and then when someone scans, that scan actually just opens up their text message, which is possible with this technology. And then from there, we just bring them through text messages and capture their name, email, and phone number.
Got it. So it would be different on the presentation side, but the system is the same
System the same.
on the technology side, and it's still within Progreda. It's all housed in there. You're still building a list. You can go from 0 contacts to 1,000 contacts as long as you're promoting either the QR code, the DM word, or text and opt-in word. So just to summarize, step one is commit to getting name, email, and phone numbers. So make
Correct.
sure you are getting them. And number two is drive traffic to it if you post something on the desk or if you make the social media content. And then what would be step three? So you have the software, you already set up, you're driving traffic to it. What else would you say that it takes to be able to automate your marketing and hit that revenue goal?
The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build a nurture sequence. You're going to want to continually build a relationship where you are texting, emailing, sending videos to build that relationship. And ideally, what you're doing is you're telling a story, the same kind of story that you would tell someone if you met with them in person. Like if someone just sat next to you and you said, "Hey, how are you?" What would you say? You would say something. My name is Andy. This is my background. This is who I am. Now it's a one-sided story at this moment, so it's only you speaking, right? But if you were with them in person, you can essentially speak to them, in through your voice, and you would tell them like, hey, this is my background, this is where I'm from, this is a little bit about my business, this is some of the people that we've helped in our business, things of that nature. But then when you take it digital, same idea. Hey, this is Andy, but this is via an email. So you send an email. Hey, this is Andy. This is my background. This is a little bit about what our business does. Then you might send a text message and say, hey, did you get my email? Right? Or maybe, hey, I just wanted to let you know I thought about you and I sent you this and I recorded this video. Here's a video that I just recorded to let you know about me. And that video itself could be pre-recorded, recorded many years ago, but it's still relevant today to build a relationship with your customer. And then you can send that text message, that email to your customer, giving them access to that video.
Yes, that's a great point, actually, that you bring up the nurture sequence, because I do think sometimes there's a misconception, and it is possible. I do want to preface with that can someone become a lead, name, email, phone number, and then they buy within 24 hours or within an hour? That's possible, but that is with the assumption that they already know, like, and trust you, right? So if a new person walks in, they may or may not instantly buy, but with the nurture email sequence, you're giving them an opportunity to understand the business, the core values, the services, stories about the owner, the team, things of that sort. Um, so I do agree that it doesn't always go right into purchase unless it's part of, like, they've already known you and have used your products or services. Would you agree that nurturing is just as important as also asking for the sale?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what gets you the sale, right? If just by me getting your name, email, phone number doesn't turn that person into a sale. I think about the same thing with marriage and dating. Like if you have a what in this world we'll call a one night stand, that doesn't bring you to all the way to marriage, does it? For the most part, usually. I mean, I live in Las Vegas, it's possible,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say there's a small percentage maybe, but unlikely.
the same thing with marketing, right? There's a small percentage that you capture their name, email, phone number, and then they instantly become a customer. So in the same way in dating and relationships, is that you get the name, email, phone number, you build a relationship over time through nurturing the relationship by sending emails, text messages, and so on and so forth. And then after enough value is given through that form of communication, that's when they say, you know what, you're the person that I want to choose to do business with, or you're the company I want to choose to do business with. Let me go purchase your product versus your competitors.
Yes. Well, one last question, just to show the realistic expectation of how much time, whether it's the owner, the manager, the marketing team, how much time would you say something like this takes, from setting up the nurturing emails, doing a couple pre-recorded videos? Now, of course, it's an investment because you only do it once and then it's going to keep going over and over indefinitely, and you could always add on to it, but at least you have a foundational nurture email sequence, lead opt-in source, and things of that sort. But realistically, and I know you have a lot of technical knowledge, this is why I asked, is this something that will take like 30 hours of work? Is this something that would take, 100 hours of work? So the strategies you speak of today, how much time would you say would be in investment?
That's a great question. I would ask, like, it's very similar to asking how long does it take to build a house, right? And it's like, well, it
Depends
depends.
how intricate the house is.
Yeah, it depends how big the house is. Like if I'm talking about, hey, I want to build a 17-bedroom house, and I want to build a 17-bedroom house with two pools and a huge front yard, and all I see is a big flat piece of land. It'll be completely different than the house that is a technically a studio, right, with no bedrooms and the foundation is already built, right? So that's where the difference is because a studio that might take 4 weeks to build that house.
Right.
maybe even 21 days to really build that house because it's so small. But the big house that we're talking about with 17 bedrooms, backyard, no foundation, and we have to start from scratch, that might take many, many months, right, to completely finalize everything
Right.
and build it. So same thing in this scenario when we talk about marketing campaigns, how intricate is the marketing campaign? Like I just got out of a meeting with a company that we're in discussion, and what they're gonna do with our technology is build a lead generation system that automatically for a year that automatically captures the name, email, phone number of the contact. And if the person is genuinely interested, we'll tag them as genuinely interested. And then in 3 months that we're going to have them be a purchaser. But if they don't buy, then there's this huge automation that takes a year. And there's this, what if they press this button? What if they don't press a button? What if they respond in an email? What if they don't respond in an
That's a
email? What if
long time.
so you have this experience that is so long that to build that is going to take some time.
Yeah, well, what I mean is the 1 year touch points, and there's a lot of psychology in that, like if they do this or if they do that. My train of thought is always better to start with something like in sets of fives, like 5 emails, 5 text messages, or it might be 10, for some people. But I remember my first email marketing campaign was only 4 emails, and the goal was just to get them to book a call, and that was efficient for a while. Now, could I done it more intricate? I'm sure I could have, but something was better than nothing. But you are right. It just depends how intricate they're looking to build it. So let's just say basic automation, 5 emails, 5 text messages, and a couple of videos to watch. In your experience, how much would that take?
That's something that could take 2 days at most.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Because
it's quick.
I remember I did like a couple, four, and stuff like that. And it really wasn't that much. Couple of links for the calendar, things like that. Well, I appreciate you sharing some insight on what it takes to get the businesses to have automated marketing, nurturing. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Have a great day.
Bye for now.